Okay. Welcome everyone, friends of First of all species. I'm Daisy. How you know? We're back with another episode of Winds of Change. Now, last time, we got on a shit roller coaster. I mean, fuck. That shit just kept going, and finally we got a point where I could kind of stop. Now, we were left with two choices. I want the perfect angle so you can see as much of my beautiful face as possible. We were left with two options. Either let our fellow dead people rest and turn a whole bunch of new people into brain-dead soldiers, or we could bring our guys back from the dead with enormous amount of pain for all eternity because they're going to be almost impossible to kill. Now, this is another situation where there is no... Well, this is worse than the pirate situation because this is a no fucking win situation. Because think about it. Because I already know what I'm going to choose. I already know. But what's going to happen is either A, all of our people who have fought and died, they're going to stay dead. And we're going to get all these new people to fight for our rebellion, to have this brand new future, but they will never be able to enjoy that future. They'll just be for the rest of their lives. There's a possibility we could bring them back. There's a possibility we can't. And they're just going to be zombies for like decades until they die, as long as we keep feeding them. But on the other hand, we bring our guys back, and they're gonna be suffering the wounds, like, for eternity, because they're gonna be, like, almost impossible to kill. It would be different if they could be killed easily and just be like, hey, we'll bring you back, you can fight this fight because you got nothing to lose, and we'll just kill you right after that, just to make it so we can end your suffering. But there is no ending of the suffering if we bring them back. I don't like that. But if we make a whole army of seers, at least they can kind of consent to, like, sacrificing themselves for the greater good in the end. You know, it's that kind of, it's that really, this shit all kind of gray. There is no black and white. It is all kinds of gray. It is gray. Not black, not white, but gray. Alright, so I obviously know what I'm gonna do. Oh, and by the by, apparently we're also a queen now. I mean, I was a bad bitch anyway. I already got myself... I got some queen art already. Okay. Make your final choice. Create an army of seers, or create an army of monarch vessels. An army of seers. An army of seers would be the most useful. With foresight, they could dodge every attack. That would be essential as we attack Balteus. They could help us strategize as well. But their true use would come on the battlefield, calling out attacks and preventing ambushes. I make my choice known to my allies. I met with uncertain gazes as I expected. There was no right choice in this situation.
Very well.
So, there we have it. What happens next?
I will take the Queen to the idol and help. After that, we must all reconvene in this war room. The strategies required for this newfound army.
They all nod and step closer to the table. I follow Salis out of the room to carry out my duty. As we leave, I can hear them planning, and I feel hopeful. Morale has risen by 5. Whoop! We will turn this defeat into a most profound victory. Under my leadership, we would witness the triumvirate fall. Hope we're not flying too close to the sun. I follow Salis back to the room with the spirit idol. It's dark and dim. Within its depths, the monarchy was imprisoned no more. Ha! Was imprisoned no more. How I fucked that up. However, existing within the vessel and the blade, was that considered freedom? I wonder what would happen to the monarchy after this war. Their bodies are likely long gone. What would become of them? I wonder if there's a way to reverse everything the Triumvirate has done. But there's no time to think about that. It's time to create our army. Much to our luck, before we began, Milos arrived at the Rebel HQ. Alongside him was a massive amount of people from Valenorth. His evacuation was successful. This meant far more soldiers, and also meant a larger number of volunteers. Knowing the importance of being a seer, they wanted to help. I suppose it was only fitting that we keep this tradition within Valenorth. But part of me felt bad. I was doing this to my own people. Yeah! But, I mean, like... Oh, here. They were made aware of the repercussions, but still agreed. Okay, good. Like, it would be different if we didn't tell them what was gonna happen. Because if we didn't tell them what was gonna happen, that's some next level evil shit. Like, I mean, I'd be willing to die, but not willing to be a zombie. Like, if I ever got to a point where I couldn't take care of myself, just kill me, okay? That's the better option for me. I don't want to be just there. Especially if there's, like, a possibility they're still somewhat conscious. Ah, that'd be hell. That made me feel a bit better, but it didn't relieve me of the guilt. It was just like I thought. The blade was an extension of the wielder's mind. Solace told me how to wield it, and I rested the blade on the volunteers. Almost like a knighting ceremony in stories of old, I declared them seers. But he also told me that the effects wouldn't happen immediately. They'd need to be watched carefully for the next day or so. When their powers kicked in, they could act irrationally. After that, we make our way back to the war room. After that, we make our way back to the war table. I can only hope that things go as planned for our future. When we arrive, it seems like Damek already had a strategy.
Absolutely not.
Oh?
Ulrich, we have no other choice. Our forces require more than one major boost. Going to Alarinthia, we could convert them to our side.
They don't want to be converted, they want blood. Plain and simple.
Yeah. There has to be something we can
could
do.
Seek the help of Vivian.
Who?
Alarinthia has a rebellion of its own. A group of people who want to change the way it's run. We could help her journey to the throne in exchange for her help.
Oh, that's true.
I've never heard of this.
Apparently they follow after ancient ideals. An Alarinthian legend that wanted to change the nation. So far it seems like none have been strong enough to do so.
It's because strength always wins. Plain and simple. And with strength and power, they don't want anything to change. They only want to secure their own rule. Alarinthia is always the same.
Well,
Damn.
the mainland has never reached out before, right? If we team up with them, yourself included, we could win. If that's not possible, then maybe we can cut a deal with Draku.
Draku? He wants nothing more than to flex his power. He may rule over Alarinthia, but he's no ruler. Trust me.
Well, I think we have a good opportunity for him, actually. What better way to show strength than to dethrone gods? There's
Fair
a couple
enough.
of avenues to take here. We need to do this.
I mean, hell, that'd be a good...
Excuse my lack of enthusiasm, Damek. I think there are more pressing matters at hand. We still need to decide what to do with him.
He tilted his head towards Solace, who shakes his own head in return.
We require no maintenance. We simply wish to fight and teach. Our legacy demands to be passed on.
Respectable.
There you have it. I don't think there's anything we can do. He won't be of any harm to us, right?
That's what we thought about the Honor Guard. Are you really going to gamble on the spirits again? What if there's a chance he's just lying to us, Damek?
We have no reason to lie, and we do not appreciate this accusation. Using the Honor Guard, we fortified these tunnels. It is thanks to us that you survived this ordeal. Many of our citizens were sacrificed in order to do this. Controlling the Triumvirate's forces was taxing, to say the least.
Damn.
Then why did they kill almost all of us during the attack?
Our control was strong, but not strong enough. It was easy for the Grand Inquisitor to overpower us. Until today, he had never set foot in these tunnels.
Damn, man.
We do not mind answering questions, but we do mind being accused of wrongdoing. Everything we've done to help your cause.
You know what? I respect the fuck out of that. Like, for real, if I do some shit that's shady and you call me on it, I'll admit to that shit. But if you just gonna throw some wild accusation at me, fuck you.
To what end?
The Triumvirate's end.
Ulrich concedes, simply shaking his head. It seems there was a counter to all of his objections.
I think we should just trust him, Ulrich. He's answered so many of our questions. Things make more sense now, wouldn't you say?
He doesn't respond. However, Morty steps forward.
What should we call him, though?
We do not require a name.
You might think that, but you still need one. It's out of convenience, not necessity.
Convenience?
Yeah, nobody really needs a name. It just helps us talk to one another, you know? It's especially helpful in battle, or while strategizing.
That's true.
Very well. We will think of a name.
However, before much time passes, Valessa interjects.
How?
Howl?
Huh?
That's what Dominic said, right? Driven by the howls of countless spirits. It seems fitting, given the circumstances.
Valessa,
We accept this moniker. However, we must discuss another matter. This strategizing you speak of, we wish to help.
That's my job, actually.
And look where it got you.
Oh, okay, goddamn.
God dang! Oh my... Ah! Oh, I felt that! Okay, yep, One, Howl, I'm sorry your name sucks, but damn, he got comebacks for real. Okay.
What?
Yeah!
Your blind faith in spirits caused all of this. Our judgment will not be clouded. We wish to take your place. Remember, you are no longer in charge. This is the Queen's choice.
Oh, are you for real? Howl turns to face me.
We wish to be your advisor, Monarch. We've watched this world for almost an eternity. We know how the enemy works and thinks. It would be the wisest course of action. Dominic is responsible for this catastrophe. He would be unfit to give you advice in the future.
That is absolutely untrue. In this world, we learn from our mistakes, Howl. We don't condemn others based on bad decisions.
Actually...
Perhaps that is why you are easily oppressed. There is no room for error in these final days. Perhaps in the future, you can atone for this.
I could tell that they're about to get locked in a heated argument. To avoid this, I slam my hands down on the war table, startling them. A loud echo reverberates through the room as I assert my authority. Damn right! Dominic will advise me, as he always has. Howl, I wish for you to be my advisor. Fuck! Man, why can't there be a both option? Like, have one at top and then one, like, co-leader? Okay. Alright, since y'all want to be some bitches about it. Okay. Again, y'all are looking at me as leader Daisy, not as my everyday Daisy. Howl is going to be my advisor, because yes, he has the most knowledge of being an eternities old, and also, Dominic is, as a leader, responsible for the actions and failures that happen under his leadership. That's just how it is, man. Okay? When you're at the top, you gotta take the fall of everyone else. That's why you gotta do better than everyone else, because it's your ass and your name that's gonna be on the line. So Hal is gonna be my advisor.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Really?
Sorry! Past or present. Okay. Dominic looks crushed and defeated. Dude, you died! But all I did was make the best choice I could. It's something I'd need to get used to in my position. However, Dominic still needed to serve the rebellion. Suppressing his emotions, he focused on his duty. While we were busy at the idol, he formulated a plan.
Those matters aside, we still need to make our next move. There's an upcoming ball in Alarinthia. It's held annually. The palace is open for a few days only. We can go. It's likely that Vivian will make a move against Dracu. If she does, we can use that as an opportunity to form an alliance. If she doesn't, then we can seek out an audience with Dracu. Either side would have a wealth of forces to offer. We need their aid if we're going to win the final battle. I'll get the boats ready. We can leave tomorrow morning. I'm sure Alex will be able to give us a capable ship. If we're going to make this ball, we need the best of the best. Ships were part of our terms, so I'm sure he'll be able to comply.
He gathered up some papers and started to walk away.
Meet back here in the morning, all of you. We can go over any last-minute stuff before we leave. The rest, we'll have plenty of time to discuss on the voyage.
We all nod to one another before leaving the room. I'm thankful that I'd be able to get some sleep, however little. I make my way back to my room, constantly checking my back. 5%? Okay. They'd never catch us off guard again. The next time we fought, it would be their end. Hal has now permanently joined your party. Okay. Rage of the Monarchy. I entered my room and let out a sigh. I can finally relax. As short as my rest would be, it was better than no rest at all. I noticed I was followed, but I expected as much after what happened. It was Dominic. He approached slowly and acted nervously. At least he doesn't appear angry with me. Man, I feel bad, but man...
Look, I just wanted to say no hard feelings. If anything, I'm angry with Howell. He was rude, blaming everything on me. That's not right. There's no way that this was all my fault. We were tricked and there was no way to counter it. We weren't in any position to doubt what the spirit showed us.
That is true. I'll admit to that.
But now, everything is different. I guess I'll take a step back for the time being. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise, you know?
I like how much... Like, honestly, I got nothing but love and respect for Dominic. But, man, desperate times, desperate measures. You know what they got... You know what they say, man.
I'll get to relax and spend some time with the crew. I honestly can't remember the last time I got to unwind. Hopefully Howell is able to strategize as well as he lets on. But all those spirits inside of him... I wouldn't be surprised if they could outsmart me. I'm curious, though. Do you think he can induce visions?
I shrugged, unsure how to answer. However, that would be a useful tool.
I'm still confused about all this. He said that the visions were part of his culture, right? But they didn't see the triumvirate coming? Not at all.
That is
Just
true.
what are they? Where did they come from? Are there other worlds out there that have fallen victim to this? If there are, then what chance do we stand?
Bro, you got... I understand what you're saying. Your voice is kind of picking up, man. You gotta take that shit down maybe 1 or 2 levels. It's true, the implications of the truth were staggering. However, we had something that nobody else would. I take the blade off my back and rest it against the wall.
I guess that blade really is our only hope. Look, I'll let you sleep. I know how interruptions can be. I just wanted to let you know that I don't hate you. I never will.
Man, bring it in. I know I'm not trying to bang you anymore, even though I totally would. But, you know, like I said, got nothing but love for you, man. You know, shit happens.
Whether I'm your strategist or not, you're still our savior. Besides, I could never speak out of turn. You're royalty now. Just make sure to be responsible with your influence, Monarch.
No promises. He gives me a slight bow as a sign of respect before leaving. I'm not sure what happened, but he seems different now. I guess the events that happened today would change any man. I lay down in bed, and it isn't much longer until I drift off to sleep. When I wake up, rested and refreshed, I head to the war room. Everyone is there as expected. It's time to get things moving. Hal approaches the war table and rests his hand upon it. Before speaking, he moves pieces of wood around the war table. They represent different things. He rests the rebellion's pieces over Alarinthia.
We sail for Alarinthia to forge an alliance. However, the nature of that alliance remains to be seen. It will be with either the insurgent Vivian or the ruler Draku. We will meet with both under the guise of a ball, held annually. It is a celebration of Draku's power and influence. It is also the perfect chance for Vivian to make a move or challenge him.
Yep.
Both parties will be present, so we will see what both can offer. Our goal is Alarinthian allies to aid your final assault on Balteus. Domic worked with our pirate allies to secure transport. We will meet at the docks after we've done talking here. It will be a skeleton crew to avoid arousing suspicion. There should be enough beds for all of us to sleep. The voyage will end at this time tomorrow. Enough food and drink will be packed for all of us. Bring your essentials. We will provide everything else. Are there any objections?
Nope. He glanced over at Yolric, who returns a piercing gaze.
Except for that one.
Ha! Ulrich shrugs and the meeting continues.
The volunteers from Valinor are starting to have visions. They will accompany us to Alarinthia and help our cause. Thankfully, there were no side effects or losses. We have our army of seers, Monarch. Hopefully, you'll get to meet them soon.
Whew.
With all of that said, I think it's time to end this meeting. Are there any questions before we head to the shipyard? Remember, once we leave, we may not be back for a while.
Morty steps forward.
What exactly happens at this ball?
True.
I'm not sure. Dancing and feasting,
No.
I imagine. Draku wants to pamper everybody he can. That's his goal. If his people are happy, then there's less fighting over the throne.
Oh, I figured that it would be a sparring match or some shit.
So basically one big party, then.
Correct.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Awesome. The last party we were ever going to have was canceled.
Ha!
Let's say we finally have your induction ceremony, eh, Cirrus? Except now it's not for being a Cirrus. It's for being a queen.
We all nod at each other. It's true, my last ceremony was cancelled. It was Draku's party, but we could celebrate for our own reasons.
Just try not to draw attention to yourselves, alright? It may be a party, but Alarinthia's fate will change behind the scenes. Remember why we're there, and don't lose sight of our original goal.
No promises.
Of course.
Morty steps back, satisfied. Why didn't Vivian make a move at any of the other parties? I guess I mean to ask, what makes this year special? What if we go there and she ends up doing nothing?
That is when we focus only on Draku. No matter what happens, we have options. It is wise to plan for roads you may not even take.
Exactly.
All right.
Valessa nods, her curiosity stated. There's a brief silence and no further questions.
Very well. Meeting dismissed. You have 3 hours to pack and get to the docks. Our goal is important, so we will leave you behind.
With that said, almost everybody rushes out of the room. Except for Howl. He stays behind and eyes me down. Before I get ready to leave, I ask him what he wants.
We've been given a room in the crew quarters. Please stop by and see us before you leave. It is important for us to learn more about you.
Fair enough. He bows at me before leaving.
Until then, Your Highness.
No problem. Now I know where that question mark, like X on the hallway was. He was definitely taking this monarch thing seriously. But given his culture and power within me, it makes sense. I take one last look at the war table before heading out. The war table is used to track your relationships with each character. The amount of hearts indicates how many heart-to-hearts you have completed. When a character's heart gauge reaches 4, you can click them to access a special scene. These scenes are required to earn each character's loyalty. The loyalty of your followers affects both morale and their fate. Do not neglect heart-to-heart conversations or these special loyalty scenes. When you wish to depart for Alarenthia, return to the Museo docks. A new map icon will display at the ship at the front of the shipyard. Huh. So she got 2, he got 3, you got 0, you got 0, you got 2, you got 0. I'm guessing if I get all of their hearts, they will all live, and that's the best route. So I gotta figure that shit out. Oh, here we go. Yes. Sophie and his crew quickly made their way back to the docks. Hiding in the alleyway, much like before, they gathered their bearings. Things hadn't gone according to plan. Their true mission was a failure.
What happened, Sophie? I thought you had everything under control. Get in, kill the Seeress, and destroy the idol.
It's not that simple, Halen. I tried my best, and it wasn't a total failure. We've dealt them a blow from which they'll never recover.
And you think the Triumvirate will be okay with that? They don't tolerate failure. I'll get dragged into this too. I don't want to suffer due to your inability to succeed, Sophie. Let's not even mention the Blade of Exodus. You just let them walk away with it. I can't believe you were so foolish.
Don't worry. We'll get the job done. They'll be happy enough with Damek out of the picture. It'll buy us time while we formulate another plan, Halen.
If you're lucky enough to get another chance, you mean. You'll need a pretty good excuse to get away with this.
Sophie saw is looking down at the ground. I mean, he's right though. He's right though.
I hesitated, Halen. I had her in my grasp, and I hesitated. There was something in my head saying not to kill her. The same instinct I always listen to and am praised for. That instinct has yet to let me down. I feel like she was meant to survive this battle. We'll have more chances to kill her in the future. Besides, with the condition I left her in, she'll be an easy target. Next time we cross paths, even a child could take her down. This isn't as bad as you think, Halen. Today, we won.
For your sake, I hope they buy that excuse.
Yeah, for real.
No, Halen. We must never tell them the truth. Tell them the Seeress slipped through our grasp. I trust you to keep this silent for the time being.
You want me to lie for you now?
It's for the best. Just trust me. I would do the same for you, Halen. Together, we will acquire any lost honor.
Fine, but next time I'll watch you. If you can't finish the job, then I will. There's no place for hesitation in a time of war.
Sophie nods and Halen walks away. This leaves Sophie alone with Shane.
So, how are you feeling?
I'm fine.
Uh-huh, bitch-ass motherfucker.
You look conflicted.
I said I'm fine.
Look, you killed Damek, Shane. I can understand what you're going through.
Oh, can you?
Yes, I did the same thing in the past. Before I joined the Triumvirate, I killed them all. Liars and cheaters deserve no less of a punishment.
You looked so sad, though. Like, how do I know what you said was true? A face can say a lot more than words ever can.
He was sad because he got caught, Shane. He thought you were dead, so he didn't expect it. You rose from the grave to deliver your vengeance. That is an opportunity he shall never have. He didn't hesitate to send you to your death, remember? There's no reason to give him a courtesy he never gave you. Offering that olive branch is a good way to get yourself killed. There's no going back now, Shane. You're one of us. After what you did, you're their enemy. For good.
Yeah, damn right.
Yes, but you are no longer an enemy of the Triumvirate. They will sing your praise and give you your every desire. The victory of our battle was all thanks to you, Shane.
I'm not sure how to feel.
Sometimes you need to act rather than react. Push those feelings aside and focus on survival. There are many rebels who will seek you out for revenge. And I expect you to show all of them the same treatment. Welcome to the Inquisition, Shane. The right side of history.
Bitch ass motherfuckers. Every single one of them. I entered Hal's room, and I noticed him standing with his back to me. He's in the corner of the room, his hand pressed against the wall. He's murmuring to himself, and I do my best not to startle him at all.
Bodies everywhere. Screams for help. Blood flowing. Corpses held tightly in their arms. They cry for the lost. But the lost do not answer, for they have no voice.
Yeah.
He feels shame, like he's responsible for all of this. But soon after, he feels nothing at all. Until he rises again. Vengeance controls his mind. It drives his clouded judgment. We see the future, as expected, but also the past. We see your death, Monarch, even if it didn't happen. Why does time play such tricks on our memories?
Huh. He turns to face me, so he knew I was here all along.
Are these memories, or perhaps echoes? That is what I wish to talk to you about, Monarch. Our mind is overwhelmed, but not in the usual sense.
Tell me more, I'd love to help.
We expected you to say that. We've heard it before. It's almost like you had no other choice. Interesting. Things are different now that we're free. So different.
So I'm obviously missing books or something.
Exiting that prison has taken its toll on our minds. And there, our sight was limited, but not anymore. Instead of just the future, we see everything. We see the past, and consequences of actions not taken. The possibilities are infinite, and this is hard even to fathom. We must narrow our vision. These details are unimportant. We may not be of much use at the moment, Monarch. It will take some time to adjust to these new circumstances, if we choose to adjust, that is. Further evaluation is required.
Everything is important to consider even if it didn't happen.
We see a past where we failed to save you, Monarch. You fell to your wounds, and Alestia had no hope at all. Domik, too. The failure of the rebellion was certain. Pirates rushed to help, but not led by the same leader. Ulrich sacrificed himself to use the blade and create an army, the Monarch vessels. or perhaps the created seers. Why do you say that seeing these things is important? It is death and carnage, the loss of all hope, and ultimately, death. Only one thing remains constant in all of us, the blade of Exodus.
Learning from our past failures is how we become stronger and smarter.
We saw you say this as well. It led to ruin. Our culture was always focused on avoiding the wrong future. We've never thought about seeing numerous versions of the past. But we are sure that we see these things for a reason. Perhaps there is a secret to find, or a link hidden between them all. As we travel, we will do our best to learn more about these visions. We simply wish to make you aware that they exist. It is the opposite of everything we've ever encountered. But at the end of the day, so are you. A huge anomaly.
I'm not sure what he means since he speaks so cryptically. I know I'm an asshole for saying this, but he 100% sounds like a teenager who's trying to sound deeper and more philosophical than they actually are, when they're just saying like basic shit that everyone really knows. But he's having visions of different pasts, not just the future. That would be jarring to me as well. I only ever saw the future. But it was almost always a future that we wanted to avoid. How could you see a different past that was always set in stone? Let alone past so different as to detail the deaths of my comrades. There had to be a reason. He was right. But it's unlikely that we'd find an answer anytime soon. You'd have to put up with this burden for a little bit longer.
It pains us to see visions of your death, Monarch. Future or past, it is something we wish to avoid. You carry our legacy. You are everything to us. We request some time alone, if you'd give us the honor. We will do our best to focus on more positive things.
He turns back to the wall and places his hand upon it.
Sharing an apple in a back alley, a growing bond. Alcohol brings forth childhood dreams, dreams of change. You grow close to a comrade, despite their two-faced nature. A man seeks family to replace the one he never had. There is a girl who finds the strength to succeed in her friends. We wonder where we fit in amongst this group. We hope we can.
He looks down at the floor and I take a few steps back. For now, it's probably best to leave him be. He seems overwhelmed. In his situation, I would be as well. He has to process a lot of new information. If I can find my place in all of this, so can he. Perhaps we'd have more to talk about on the boat ride. I leave for the docks, confident to help him more in the future. So I obviously fucked up somewhere, which honestly is not a surprise.
20 minutes later.
So there's some things I wanted to get as much as I could done. I'll cut out all the boring stuff before we get to a point where we can't come back. So I'm taking a small detour, apparently. Taking a small detour, we decided to check out East Crown. The cold is overwhelming, so we huddle by the torchlight.
Oh my gosh, this is intense. I've heard the stories, but I thought they were exaggerating. We shouldn't stay here too long. I feel like I'm gonna die.
Ugh, Fortune, don't be so dramatic. I'm sure we have time to examine the area. Just don't go in any further, alright?
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry. Look, I can see my breath. How cool is that?
I'll admit, that is pretty cool. Barely out of Valinor and already seeing new stuff. I'm guessing it has something to do with the cold?
It's insane. I can't believe how much the spirits help us. Without their power, this is what Valinor would look like. They keep us warm and let our village fight off the cold.
If Milas is right, then this is Valinor's future. It's only setting in now that I see it for myself. There must be something we can do to save our village.
I sure hope so. Let's take a quick look around. It'd be dangerous to stay here for too long.
He inches closer to the torch to keep himself warm. Valessa and I don't seem too bothered and start looking around. Okay, so there's a book here. I take a few steps down the trail, but immediately turn back. It actually hurt to breathe. I didn't know nature could be so hostile. I shrug and turn back to my friends. We may never know East Crown's secrets. I noticed a book on the ground slightly covered in snow. I'm not sure why it's there, but I decided to take a look. Any information about East Crown would be helpful to us.
Hey, are you sure you should be taking that?
It was covered in snow, Fortin. Whoever owned it probably forgot about it already. Besides, it might contain some useful information.
I guess you're right. But at least put it back when you're done with it. I don't want to get in trouble if the owner does come looking.
Alright, you have a deal. So, Cirrus, what does it say?
Mysterious journal. This is it. I've finally done it. For the last 10 years, I've been training my body to handle East Crown's cold climate. At the start, I could barely make it a few feet without having to stop. But now, I can almost last an entire day before I need to back out. I know that the answers are now within reach. What purpose does East Crown serve? How much of Alestia is uncharted? I'm planning one final journey into these icy mountains, and I know I'll find the truth. I'll see off my wife and child tomorrow, and leave my journal by the entrance. Should I make it out of this alive, the following pages will be filled with wonders and revelations upon my return. We will finally understand. The rest of the pages are empty.
Oh, so he died, for real. Okay. That's lovely. That looks like that's it of all that? Well, this one too. As soon as we entered Salzburg, we're all in shock. It's such a beautiful sight, unlike anything in Valenorth. From here, it's very obvious that we're up in the mountains. A fact that Valenorth's lush forests are prone to hide.
Whoa. This is amazing. I can't believe something like this was so close.
And look at the spirit idol. That's so cool. Even if it's not lit up, it's still beautiful.
Milo said it went dark when the Cirrus was born. I can't believe all that energy is inside of you.
They both look at me as if they don't understand. But I guess that's fine. We don't really know what's happening. I must have been given this power for a purpose, but what purpose?
Hey, race you to the idol, Valessa.
He starts running like his life depends on it. Quite the head start, if you ask me.
Hey, that's not fair!
She quickly follows after him, chasing the distance. She quickly follows after him, closing the distance. It was nice to see their spirits lifted like this. I might as well make the most of my time here. Where it all began.
What? No fair! How did you beat me?
Even with a head start, you're no match for me. Time to throw in the towel. Stick to climbing trees.
Oh? So you want to have a climbing race?
I'll pass, thanks.
Wait, why?
A smart person doesn't pick a battle they know they'll lose. I'm surprised you challenged me, Fortin. You know how fast I am.
Are you calling me stupid?
Yes.
No, I'd never do that. Anyway, isn't the spirit idol beautiful?
That's putting it lightly. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. When it's lit up, it must be incredible.
Yeah, I'd pay almost any price to see that. But don't worry, Fortin. I'm sure there's something we can do. If we all work together, we can make that idol shine again.
As soon as we entered the tavern, the smell of ale assaults our noses. This wasn't anything like Peregrino. This was an entirely different level. Bottles of foreign alcohol line the shelves. I'd have no idea where to start looking.
Good call, Cirrus. No trip to Mazea was complete without coming here. If it's time to relax for a bit, I'll just take a seat at the bar.
He gives me a sly smirk and immediately takes a seat. The bartender, who I can only describe as overwhelmed, takes his order. Pro takes a few steps forward and afterwards takes a deep breath.
You just can't beat that smell. If you need me, I'll just be checking my mail. I've been in Valinor for a while. I'd hate to miss anything.
Trotting off to the corner, he starts to inspect his mailbox. Shelves with letters and numbers line the back corner of the tavern. He must pay to have an anonymous address or something like that.
Taverns don't really do anything for me, Cirrus. I don't mean any offense by this, but I'll be waiting outside. That's not to rush your relaxation or anything. You deserve it.
With a smile, he slowly backs out of the tavern. I guess this would be a good chance to talk with Pro and Ulrich. We haven't really had enough time to get to know each other yet. Alessa and Morty take a seat and start talking amongst themselves. I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if we wasted a little bit of time here. Ulrich is chugging a large cup of ale and Pro is carefully reading over some letters. I sit down beside Ulrich and look over at him. A couple of empty glasses strewn about signal that he's already had a few. However, he doesn't seem to show it, not at all. He's calm and collected.
Hey, Cirrus, come to join me? I can recommend a few drinks if you like. Do you want something strong, or should we start weak?
Damn. Let's start off a little weak.
I guess we'll have to work our way up. Don't worry, you'll get to my level in no time.
He motions to the bartender, and a few moments later, I'm given a glass. Ulrich watches me with a smirk as I take a large swig and swallow it down. It tastes like nothing, practically water. Weak was actually an understatement.
Wish you went for the stronger one? Trust me, I started out the same way. Sometimes you just need to dive in.
Well, I didn't want to choose the flirty answer.
Want another one? What are you in the mood for?
I want to do flirty. Fine, just a little stronger.
Alright, one step at a time. Hold on, I'll get you something special.
Once again, he motions to the bartender and I'm given a drink. This one is tinted red like fruit. Perhaps it won't be too bad. As time passes, I notice him start to exhibit signs of inebriation. I grip the glass and take a large swig. It's very fruity. There's a bit of a burn, but it's nothing too bad. I drink it all. Slamming the glass down on the table, I declare my victory.
Okay, that one was easy. But like I said, one step at a time. The night is just getting started.
He crosses his arms and stares at me with a blank look. But soon after, his facial expression becomes more stern. It's clear that the drinks are starting to hit him, and fast.
I guess I'll stop messing with you for now. Truth is, I just wanted to see how much you could handle. It's a good test. Nice judge of character. And you passed.
That's good, I guess. He was testing me.
You learn a lot about someone by how they hold their liquor. You're strong, at least. You have a strong will. I respect that. This is part of how they do things back in Alarinthia. I know I say I hate it, and I truly do, but some of its culture sticks with me. You left Valinor, so it'll likely be the same.
Fair enough. He waves to the bartender, who brings him another drink. Honestly, I'm surprised he's still coherent. That's crazy. Swigging it down, he lets out a sigh of complete content.
Sorry for rambling on like that. If there's anything I hate, it's a one-sided conversation. Is there anything you want to ask me? Right now, I'm an open book.
Do you think there's any way we could No. Just tell me about your luck. Well, you were just telling me about Altherinthia.
Honestly, there's not much more to say. I'm a man between two worlds, and it's complicated. It's hard to shake the habits of where we come from.
Fair. That's...
Either way, I think I've had enough. I'm gonna buy a bottle to bring to my chambers. Feel free to join me if you want to share another drink.
I nod and stand up, but all the drinks hit me at once. I immediately stumble over, using the bar to brace myself.
Hey now, watch your step. The ground here could do some real damage.
I shake my head and regain my clarity. It's a mystery to me how Yulrik could handle this stuff. It would be a long time before I reached his level. True to his word, Yulrik ordered a bottle of alcohol and walks away. Socializing with the tavern patrons, it seems like our moment was over. I take a few deep breaths and ensure my head is clear before moving. I guess we had to get things back on track. As enjoyable as that was, we had business to take care of. Hopefully we would have more time like this to unwind in the future. Pro-Rest is back against the mailboxes, sifting through letters. He must be pretty popular, as his hands were full of paper. I can't even imagine if I got that many letters in Valinor.
Oh, hey there.
He looked at me, startled, and turns to face the mailboxes. As if in a rush, he starts putting the various letters in various boxes. Wait, all of those letters weren't actually his? Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
Well, you caught me. Just don't tell anybody else, alright? This is one of the best ways to get information.
Can't just go I don't know what you're talking about. Hell, I'll let it slide. You tell me something good.
Are you trying to blackmail me? Honestly, I didn't think you were the type. I'm immediately more interested in you.
You should get to know me. Joking.
But, to be honest, that won't work on me. I can play my way out of pretty much any situation. So do your worst, and I promise I'll adapt.
I can respect that. He turns back to the mailboxes and rates them once again. I guess he assumed that it was okay since I was one of his comrades. A big smile appears on his face as he borrows private information.
It's amazing what some of these people get up to. The most innocent people could be involved in awful things. See, I can beat blackmail, but, these people can't. It's a good way to line the rebellion's coffers. So later today, I'm gonna pay this guy a visit.
He taps one of the papers in his hand.
It would seem a reputable business owner is up to no good. I think he'd lose some business if people found out he worked with pirates. If I got him to pay me off, I could feed the rebellion for months, Cirrus.
Damn, that's good. He looks at me as if waiting for my approval.
Is everything okay? I'm not scaring you away, am I? This kind of stuff isn't for everybody.
You're not scaring me off.
Now you're talking. This'll be my biggest score in months. I'll get it done tonight, and then celebrate in my room back at HQ. Feel free to pay me a visit. I'd be down for some quality time together. I mean, you still want to be friends, right? I hope all of this danger doesn't scare you away. I'm not like this all the time. Trust me, Cirrus.
Hopefully... Of course we can be friends, you
I'm glad.
dumbass.
You caught me, so I had to come clean. Otherwise, I would have kept this stuff secret. Not many people know what I actually do. But if you pay attention, it's not too much of a stretch. It's just something I picked up from years on the streets. Maybe I'll tell you a bit more back at HQ. I'll use this big score to buy a bottle of wine. We can crack it open and get to know each other.
He carefully places the letters back into their respective mailboxes. Clapping his hands together as to brush off the dust, he looks right at me. Squinting his eyes, it's almost as he's trying to judge or gauge me.
I gotta admit, you're a bit different than I expected. That's surprising, since I'm usually a good judge of character. You'd make an interesting subject to write about, you know.
Well, that's nice. I shrug, unsure how to respond to such a thing. Hell, man. Man, at this point, if we make it into a book, as long as we aren't getting shitted on completely, like at least we have like at least one positive footnote, I'll take it as a W.
Now I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. Let's just stick to the plan. Bottle of wine, Rebel HQ. I have a new target, so I should probably get going.
He smiles and rests a hand on my shoulder.
There's not many people I can talk to about this kind of stuff. If I have to be honest, I'd say I'm kind of glad that you caught me. Next time we talk, it'll be your turn to spill some secrets. Alright?
Alright. With a sly smirk, he slowly walks away from the mailbox. I guess I now know a little more about Pro's true nature. But in a time of war, I guess you had to resort to stuff like that. Dominic must only allow it out of necessity. I'm sure Pro would stop this behavior once the war was over. Are you sure? So rather than condemn him, I choose to take him up on his offer. Learning more about him over a drink could prove to be entertaining. And at the end of the day, it wouldn't hurt to make another friend. I turn my back to the tavern, ready to move on to the next step. I examined the shelves looking for anything of note. I didn't find much except a piece of some current news. It couldn't hurt to get a better perspective on Alessia's current state. Resting my back against the shelf, I start to read it. It seems to be about Alarinthia, Yulric's homeland. Apparently things aren't going very well over there.
Alarinthia's civil conflict. Could the next tournament held in Alarinthia's Colosseum be the last? That's the hope of a new uprising run by a mysterious woman known only as Vivian. Wanting to change Alarinthia's form of government into something more modern, she hopes to bring peace and organization to the otherwise savage lands. While the current tribe leader of Alarinthia has always had the ability to change the rules, none have been interested in anything other than retaining their leadership and proving their strength in Alarinthia's deadly arena tournaments. If Vivian's forces were victorious, she would have the ability to completely rewrite the rules that govern Alarinthia. However, because she's approaching the upcoming tournament with brains rather than brawn, it would require a miracle to secure victory. Chances are, Alarinthia will likely remain under the grip of Draku's strength. However, Vivian's ideals are likely to live on. Perhaps one day things will change. A recent Mazayan news article.
Okay, so I should have done this, read this, before that one part in that cutaway where they were talking about, you know, this subject. Then I would have had some information to use on that. Okay, so I need to be, this is teaching me I need to be a lot more proactive. I wonder who this Vivian is. Yorick would definitely side with her, someone like her. He thinks that Alarithia should be more like the mainland. I enter Pro's room and see him sitting down. He's hunched over a piece of paper, scribbling notes down on it. It appears to be some sort of legal-looking document. An open bottle of wine sits next to him, and it's still full. 2 wine glasses sit on the table on opposite sides of each other. Upon hearing my entrance, he looks up at me and smirks.
I knew you'd come sooner or later. Good thing the wine didn't get too warm. Have a seat. This is some good vintage stuff.
I pull out the chair and sit across from Pro. As soon as I sit down, he starts pouring us some wine. It's a dark crimson red and appears to be quite thick.
At least that's what the guy told me. I just asked for their most expensive wine. That job from before, I made more than I thought.
Damn.
I asked myself what I should do with all of it. I mean, there was a ton to spare even after buying food. All I could think of was share a drink with my new friend.
Aww.
So, here we are. Hopefully it's something you enjoy. I'd hate to buy you a treat you didn't like.
It's more than enough. You didn't have to. Are you trying to win me over? Might be the last drink time I get to drink for a while. It's more than enough. Thank you.
Of course I didn't. It's a gift. Kind of loses its meaning if I have to do it. I wanted to get things off to a better start, you know?
Nah.
Last time we hung out, I didn't really get the chance. I was worried I'd scare you away when you found out what I do. It's dirty work, but it helps us survive. Somebody has to do it, right? There's a big difference between me and a regular swindler, though. I do it because we need to survive. They do it for fun and riches. After the war is over, I won't need to do this stuff anymore. Trust me, I long for that day to come. I want to just kick back and work on my writing. Right now, I only have time for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. He motions to the paper he was writing on and sighs.
Organized blackmail, pretty much. That guy I mentioned last time, I was able to bribe him. He gave us tons of money to hide his growing misconduct. Of course, that makes it sound so bad, but you always need to get everything in writing. So we found a better way to word it. Listen to this.
Oh yeah?
I offer Pro this sum of money in exchange for discretion. See?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound too much like shady business, does it? Information is a huge market, and so is stopping the flow of it.
100%. That's real.
Everyone is so caught up on doing stuff to make money, and here I am able to make it all by staying my hand. You just need to think outside the box a bit, Cirrus.
No problem.
Anyway, enough about that. We should talk about the important stuff. How are you enjoying the new HQ so far?
I like it's very homey. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Although I really hesitate to call it new. We've basically lived here before getting the deed.
Yeah.
It was more of a formality than anything. Anyway, that's not really important. I'm glad that you like it. We're stuck here.
For now. We continue to talk while taking slow sips of wine. The atmosphere in here is a lot better than back at the tavern. It feels like we're getting to know each other far more.
Honestly, I'm having a really great time. It's not often I get to put everything on pause, but right now, I don't have a care in the world.
Man, that shit must be really nice. I've never been through, like, legit war and shit, but, like, having just a time to yourself in, like, a really crazy situation must be super fucking nice.
If we have more time, want to do this again? I mean, time might be pretty scarce in the future, but what little time I have, I'd totally spend with you.
Of course, I had a great time.
Right, that settles it then. I'm glad we were able to, push past that awkward stage. You know, the whole, hey, I'm a swindler part of this.
Ha! Yep.
I promise it'll be good times and wine from here on out. Though, I still think you should be my workout partner. Next time, maybe I'll challenge you to a little race.
Man, here's the thing with me. I got some friends who are all trying to get every single motherfucking Pokemon in their decks. And then I get other friends who would run you over with their car for looking at them wrong. Alright? If I fuck with you, I fuck with you. I ain't gonna judge you. We good. We keep drinking until the wine is all gone. It's just casual conversation, nothing too intense. But once we're done, Pro stands up and yawns.
I guess this is it then? For now, of course. It's getting late. You shouldn't keep Dominic waiting too long. As much as I hate to cut this short, I mean, it's nice to just push aside all responsibilities. Let's make a habit of it. It'll be like a ritual of ours.
He smiles and I stand up ready to leave. But I guess he's not ready to see me off just yet. Running forward, he offers me a firm handshake.
Thank you, Cirrus.
Hey, no problem. And with that, he's back to his own business. Sitting at the table, he's lost in that letter once more. I leave the door with a smile on my face. I'm glad we got along. I enter Yolric's room and he's laying on his bed, relaxed. Bottles of alcohol line the table nearby, some empty, some full. He hears me enter and immediately rises up, grabbing his sword.
Who's there?
Oh God! Oh! But as soon as he notices me, he relaxes with a sigh. Loosens his grip on the sword, he puts it aside. He's a bit paranoid, but with reason.
Sorry, you never know when someone might attack. I don't normally doze off too much, for that reason alone. It's nice to see you, though. I had a good time at the tavern.
He stands up and walks over to the table. With a large swig from another bottle, he lets out a refreshing sigh. He must not have much of downtime, but today was an off day.
Namek said to relax, so that's what I'm doing. I've known him for years, and he's never said that. I'm surprised he's not celebrating his new pirate treaty. Even if he tells us to relax, I doubt that he's doing it. He's probably already waiting for you in the war room. Don't worry, I'll try not to keep you here for too long.
He shuffles bottles aside, looking for something specific. It isn't much longer until he finds a much larger bottle still full. There's a crimson liquid inside. It seems to be a special wine.
I've been saving this for a special occasion. And trust me, Damek giving me the night off is really special. I don't remember the last time I could just sit back and relax.
He pops the cork out of the bottle and takes a large swig. Weren't you supposed to savor the wine rather than chug it?
Alorinthian wine. It's quite delicious. I'd say it's the best thing to come from that horrible place. Tastes like juice, but trust me, it sneaks up on you later.
Ha! Nice.
Shall we?
He holds out the bottle, offering it to me. Okay, with coronavirus going on, even before coronavirus, I'm not about to drink the same drink you just drank from with all that backwash in there, okay? Have you brushed your teeth lately? Have you been eating something nasty? No. Gross. No. I don't fuck with it. I mean, I don't even drink that much anyway, but I'm not about to drink all your slobber. Shit. I accept it and we both sit down on the edge of the bed. Taking turns, we pass the bottle back and forth until it's gone.
Wow. That certainly took me back. Haven't had a drinking buddy like you in a long time. People these days seem to forget about the finer things in life. Damek is always saying, train, train, train. I don't even know if he's capable of taking it easy. At least Salus knew how to balance work and fun.
He goes to take another sip of wine, trying to get the last drops. I wonder how much that cost him. It's probably the best I've ever tasted.
I guess I shouldn't bore you with that kind of talk. Your time is valuable, and you're choosing to spend it with me. Some host I'd be if I sat here and wasted that time of yours.
He stands up and places the bottle on the table before sitting down again. The bed is more than big enough to fit both of us comfortably. He lets out a large sigh before crossing his arms.
I guess that's all I had. Too bad. The night is still young.
He laughs softly, looking over in my direction.
Drinking buddies with no drinks? This is a first. What now?
Has it really been this long since Yolric had a friend? Shit! Man, making me feel better about how dry my phone is. He doesn't know what to do, so I give him some direction. It's crazy how much he knows about me, and yet I know nothing about him.
More about me? So you want me to bore you, huh?
He smiles and lays back in the bed, looking up at the ceiling. It's almost like he didn't want to look at me while he spoke. As a courtesy, I lay back as well, and we look up together.
Well, I'm probably older than you think, but I prefer to use the term experienced. I've seen a lot of combat in my numerous years. You kind of grow up alongside battle in Alarinthia. The culture there is so steeped in war it's impossible to avoid. When you come of age, you should already be an expert in combat. I was, but I chose to leave Alarinthia behind as soon as I could. My parents wanted me to stay, but I think they wanted it for them. I came to the mainland because I knew it would be the best for me. You need to look out for yourself. Don't let others sway your opinion. At least, that's what I told myself. I justified breaking my parents' hearts. I can't make it up to them either. They've been gone for ages.
That's sad, man.
They were part of a movement that wanted to change Alarinthia. Things would be better in the hands of the wise, not the strong. An admirable view, unless you were surrounded by the strong.
Fair enough.
And surrounded they were. They were killed for their beliefs. That's why I hate Alarinthia more than anything. And the way it's run. I told myself I'd come to the mainland and practice my swordplay. I'd only ever return when I was strong enough to win. If I could become the ruler of Alarinthia, I would change their laws. Every leader has that ability, but they only care about their own power.
I mean, that's the fucking same as it is now.
It's always a battle of the strong against the wise. I wanted to go back to that land, both strong and wise. A ruler with a different outlook, he could change everything. It's just the alcohol talking right now, by the way. The childish dream of a young man. That's all it was. This world offers no quarter to men blind on ambition.
He tilts his head to look at me.
And so we offer no quarter in return. This war, it's already taken so much from us. I find myself asking, how much more will it take? Hopefully, not too much.
The fact I was supposed to read this before that cutscene where everybody died makes this a lot more fucked up. I turned to respond, but I noticed his eyes are closed. Was he so tired that he could fall asleep almost instantly? I wonder if I should wake him up, but decided to let him rest. As slowly getting out of the bed, I tiptoe my way to the door. It's been a long journey for him too. He deserves this. I exit as silently as I can, ready to continue on my way. But I learned more about him, so I'm happy. Maybe he'd get to change Alarinthia in the end. After we defeat the Triumvirate, anything is possible. Okay, so I'm thinking that's everything. It looks like I have everything. I'm gonna save again. Oh shit, you will be unable to return to the mainland until after Act 4. Knowing this, would you still like to sail for Alarinthia? Hell yeah, let's go. I make my way to the ship as Dominic instructed. I have done literally everything. I clicked on everything. I'd like cut out, I bet I have cut out like 3 hours of me just clicking every single fucking thing. I make my way to the ship as Dominic instructed. Everyone is already gathered around. Am I late? Before long, I'm spotted by a few of my friends.
Hey there, Monarch. I'm glad to see you made it on time. They're just about ready to leave Mazeo. I'm so excited to see what Alarinthia is like. I mean, except for the heat, of course. Yikes. But I guess there'll be plenty of time to adapt.
Man, heat never bothered me. I mean, I'm wearing my fursuit head. I wear it in the summertime in Texas, so I really don't give a fuck about heat. We're good.
Yeah, I don't think our visit there will be a short one. It's kind of a tall order. forming an alliance with Alarenthia. They take their independence seriously, even more than Valinor.
I think that Vivian will be our best shot. Hopefully you and Hal can get along, Monarch. It's a new partnership, but it certainly shows promise.
Upon hearing his name, Hal's ears perk up. He walks towards me, ending his previous conversation. I can't believe this was all organized so fast and so efficiently.
Monarch, glad to see that you made it. We were just talking with some new supporters. It appears that our partnership is welcomed by many. We are not the only ones who hold Dominic accountable. If it's okay, we'd like to introduce you to a few of them. Hopefully they will solidify your choices correct.
I nodded and follow Hal back to where he was before. A few rebels stand there smiling as they see me. Hal motions toward them and I step forward.
Pleasure to meet you, Monarch. I'm glad to see that you survived the attack. Thanks to Dominic, and everybody was so lucky.
They told us he was an unparalleled strategist. Well, if he is, he lost the chance to prove it to us. I gotta say, I'm glad you changed the way things are run.
Yeah, Hal seems like the perfect choice, Monarch. It's good to know that we're in the hands of somebody wise. Under your command, we'll recover from this, and win.
See, I understand their doubt and stuff, and I'm not gonna fault them for anything, but I still got a lot of love and respect for Dominic. Because, like, let's just be honest, he's done a lot of good for you, and a lot of good for everyone. How could he have known that his top guy, Shane, was going to fold from a letter? An obviously forged letter. They all step away and go about their business. So there are rebels who think Dominic is responsible. That means that there are others that support Dominic. I hope this is okay. Conflict is the last thing we need among our own forces. It would definitely hinder our morale in the coming storm. I turn back to Hal, who seems happy and relaxed.
We should probably get going, Monarch. Everything is on the ship, and everybody is here. Alex worked overnight to make sure we were ready.
Talk about dedication.
Shall we continue the rest of this discussion at sea? If anything, it'll help pass the time. Alarenthia is quite far away. We'll take a shipping route used by our people in ancient times.
Wow. I nod and start to follow him aboard. Everybody else follows suit and we're all loaded up. This would be my first time at sea. I hope my body takes it well. The boat is rather large and it can easily fit all of us. Wasting no time, as soon as we're on, they prepare to set sail. Pirates run about the ship, making last-minute preparations. I even see Milas aboard, and that's slightly surprised. Oh shit! Hal is the body of his dead dad. Oh, okay, this is gonna be fun. Okay, however, before I'm able to say anything to him, the pirates take charge. Their leader steps into the middle of the deck and shouts orders.
Come on, everybody, let's do this! They'll write about this voyage in the history books. Let's give them something memorable to read about.
His crew nod and exchange witty banter as they prepare. It seems like life as a pirate actually could be pretty fun. I feel glad that we chose to support him. He seems nice. I walk to the center of the ship and slowly inspect my surroundings. It's a bit packed, but that's because nobody went to the crew quarters yet. I could tell from the outside that this place has more than enough space. As soon as Hal sees me, he slowly steps toward me. A few people follow him. More introductions. I guess it was better than being lonesome on the voyage.
Monarch, we're almost ready to set sail. However, there are people who wish to meet you. It seems that you are the subject of much praise to them. And it is deserving. You turned them into seers. This is a gift that only a select few in history has received. Come chat with us when we set sail. I'll take my leave until then.
He steps away from me with loud, heavy steps. It seems that he's still getting used to this new body. I turn to meet these new people, ready to make friends.
I must thank you for this gift, Monarch. It was alarming at first, having all these visions. But now we know they can be used to secure victory.
Hi. What is that thing? Why are you breaking your fingers? It's really weird.
We know that we may not be able to enjoy this victory, but honestly, I would give anything to serve somebody like you. All I ask is that you go on to live happy lives after the war.
These happy lives may elude us, but we've accepted that. To give our friends a bright future, no price is too high to pay. We are yours to command, Monarch, until we are of no further use.
Huh. I nod, dismissing them. It's good to see that things went well. This is kind of weird to me. Honestly, creating seers could have gone horribly wrong, horribly fast. To know that I used the blade effectively gave me great pleasure. I continued to walk along the ship, taking in everything I see. After a few steps, I notice Ulrich and Pro are lost in conversation.
Stop whining, Pro. This trip will be over before you know it. I have my complaints too, but there's nothing I can do.
But you're not scared of the sea, Ulrich. Oh, this is gonna be like torture, I know it. Do you know where I can find some buckets?
Getting queasy already? We haven't even set sail.
Oh my gosh.
Man, you're making it worse.
Pro, you're being a pussy. I laugh and continue walking. More of my comrades are talking amongst themselves. That's good. We have a long and likely boring voyage ahead. But just because you said that, we're going to be at the bottom of Davy Jones' locker.
But that's not Salus, right? He's been dead for a while. Oh man, I'm worried for Milas.
Yeah, but I mean, Milas should be able to see that they are obviously not related.
It's weird to see him alive, but I also know it's not really him.
Are you even listening to yourself right now? I can't believe we can say these things and mean them. Like, what's going to happen with no more Spirit Realm?
Who knows? Everything we knew was wrong. At the end of the day, maybe Valinor will be fine. I don't see how some prison could have kept it warm.
You're right, and that's amazing. Let's push all this weirdness aside and agree on that. We'll ask Salus. I mean Hal, for sure, when we get the chance.
Of course.
It seems like they're still digesting these events. I can't blame them. Everything is pretty crazy right now. Thankfully, we'd have plenty of time to continue digesting. Alorithia was almost a day away. At least we'd get to sleep. But until then, I'd better make use of the time to talk to my friends. A lot had happened in the last day. I should check up on them. The ship shakes slightly and I lose my balance for a moment. I guess we're setting sail. I've never actually been at sea before. I have. It's fun as long as you don't capsize. Pirates run amok, as if getting to their designated workstations.
All right, everybody, here we go. We want a smooth voyage, so don't forget your schedules. Those of you with the graveyard shift, I'll make it up to you.
I like him. He climbs up the rope netting on the side of the ship and looks at the horizon. With a smile on his face, he points towards the vast body of water before us.
To the seas we go.
Yeehaw! His crew repeats this as if it were a mantra before we all set sail.
Have traveled long and come so far upon this road, and we've seen mountain high, valley low.
Now they actually have a song. Okay.
Standing strong. Feel the rhythm in the air tonight. Hear it building loud and strong. In the beat.
Man, I need to stop because part of me wants to let the whole song play, but I also know I need to get into the story, okay? I guess this was it. We were on our way to secure Alarinthia Alliance.
You are not my father.
Do you say this to inform us, or to console yourself?
See, how the hell are they somewhat related?
Huh? This question was self-explanatory.
It's just... I should be mad at you. Furious. You defile the memory and likeness of my father.
Do we? It seems that Salus was an honorable man. Are we not carrying out his final wishes?
What?
The freedom of Alestia. The destruction of the Triumvirate. When you look at it that way, it seems as if we defile nothing.
I don't know.
What are you wishing to know?
I want to know how I should feel right now. This is just so bizarre. I have no idea what to do. Back in Valinor, things were so simple and easy.
Why must you do anything? You could mull over this development for years, you know. At the end of the day, you should do something more useful.
Like what?
This is not for us to decide, but have no worries. We will take care of this body, and using it, we will do everything we can to honor your father.
Thank you. I'll let you know if I think of anything. This might take a while for me to understand.
Very well, but please remember this. Lack of understanding is not a fault. In fact, it can be a strength. You flourished even though you did not know the truth of the spirits.
You're right. I think I need some time alone. I'll be down in the crew quarters, Hal.
Dominic sits in a bed, staring down at the pendant I saw him hold back at HQ. He had faced death and come back out the other side. That would change any man. But what happened while he was gone? That's a question that's been on my mind. I approach cautiously, careful not to startle him out of his reverie. When I get close to him, he looks up, making no effort to hide his tears. He finally had time to process everything that happened back in those tunnels.
I was such a fool, Monarch. Shane tricked me. I was careless. I should have never let him get close to me. He knew my weakness and exploited it. He made me so happy to see him again, and I thought I was finally ready.
That's why he never lets us shake his hands. Something happened in his past where he cannot let anyone touch him. He finally lets somebody touch him for the first time in forever, and this happens. Oh, fuck me. Weakness, what does he mean?
Will you have a seat with me, Monarch? I guess I should tell you the truth of what happened. From the sidelines, I must have looked incompetent. I mean, I'm trained in combat, you know. I should have been able to avoid Shane's dagger with ease. It's what they're all thinking, even if they don't say anything.
With my interest piqued, I sit down beside Stomach. He puts the pendant into one of his pockets and turns to face me. I could tell that his crying spell was over. He was more calm and collected.
Back during the occupation, my parents were killed. I saw them murder my father with no hesitation. Blood. Everywhere. After that, my mother took my hand and tried to find us some shelter. We didn't make it very far. We saw all the bodies in the town square. Mountains of them. The ground was full of blood. Almost like an ocean. If you look closely, you can still see some of the stains. Even today.
This seems unrelated to Shane's attack, but I sit and listen. He told me he would tell me the truth, so I should see where this goes.
My mother made a judgment call and did something risky. What's the one place they would never look for survivors? That's right, amongst the corpses, covered and crushed by them. I was crying, but she helped me get underneath a bunch of bodies. She played dead and lay on the outside, holding my hand as tight as she could. I remember how she kept telling me that everything would be okay. That soft whisper.
Wow.
She didn't make it very long. They found her and stabbed her over and over. I felt her wince every time. The grip of my hand got tighter and tighter. Then, after a while, it just let go. I got to feel her final moments. The voice telling me that everything would be okay soon went silent. I was left there, under a pile of bodies, covered in blood. The last embrace I remember, the last time I held a hand.
Yeah.
It's not something I could ever do again. It just reminds me of that day. Now you understand how Shane made me freeze in fear and surprise. He was the only other person I told this to. He used that to trick me.
This makes me hate Shane on a whole new level, to the point that I would literally sodomize him with an iron stick. Like,
And he would have killed me too, if it wasn't for you and Hal. I was finally ready to get close to somebody again, and then this happens. That's how I know Shane wasn't just acting. He played dirty, and he wanted me dead. There was so much running through my mind the moment he stabbed me. I thought perhaps he was trying to win over the triumvirate so he could get more intel. But then he stabbed me again, and again. I knew that the man I once knew was gone. They did something to him while he was imprisoned. They won him over. I don't know how they did it, but they turned him into a completely different person. We must never let another one of our allies fall under their thrall. Never.
I nod, agreeing with Dominic. But that was a horrible story. Going through that as a child. His aversion to physical contact makes perfect sense now. And Shane is an awful person, having taken advantage of that. Startling Dominic, making him relive those memories, and killing him. That was despicable.
Sorry for dropping all of that on you, Monarch. I just needed to tell somebody. It was eating away at me. And I trust you. I know you'd never do anything like Shane did.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. I'm kidding. That's fucked. I know. That goes without saying. However, the room soon falls to silence. Dominic fidgets awkwardly, clearly nervous.
Well, I guess that's enough to kill any conversation. Like I said, I'm sorry for dropping all of that on you. Anything else you need to say to me while you can?
Not everybody will hurt you, Dominic. Opening up is a good thing.
It's easy to say that, but it's harder to actually try. Especially when you've had a track record like I have. I want to, but there's just something stopping me, you know?
100%.
It's nothing against you, or anyone else I consider a friend. I just have to put this barrier up for my own benefit. I don't want to hurt anybody either, actually. This is war. I almost died back in the Rebel HQ. If I did, can you imagine the pain my allies would feel? Getting close to somebody in a time like this would be a disaster.
He smiles and gets out of the bed. I do so as well. I could tell that he was ready to end this conversation.
Well, shall we call it then? I think this is as good a time as any. Let that new information process for a while. When it comes to my past, that's about it. From now on, we can look to the future. I hope it's just as bright as I picture it.
With that, he walks away from me and back up to the deck. I'm glad that he liked me enough to tell me about his past. It was my duty to never take advantage of that, like Shane did. Hal stares off into the ocean, deep in contemplation. I imagine that he'd have a lot to think about, and a lot to process. Last time we talked, he seemed conflicted about whether or not he'd fit in.
Monarch.
He turns to face me and gives me a small wave, welcoming me. I stand beside him and we stare off into the ocean together. The sun causes it to glisten, sparkling with a gentle beauty.
We're still conflicted. These thoughts won't go away. Visions of needless violence and senseless destruction. You may tell us that they aren't real, but we are unsure. The emotions that well up within us are far too real. Is it possible for fake events to elicit real emotions? Or are we perhaps hearing echoes of the past?
Echoes of the past. What does he mean?
Let us phrase it differently. You know visions, yes? The monarchy used them to guide us to the best possible future. How can you know that best possible future without trial and error? There would still be many futures left unseen and many pasts avoided. Knowing one true course of action requires disregarding millions of wrong ones. What if we are simply seeing these many avenues, almost like our visions have evolved? If not evolved, then perhaps gotten muddled. Rather than see the one important future, we see everything. We do not know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, Monarch.
It kind of makes sense when you think about it. Seeing the best possible future was like one side of a coin. The other side still exists, and it's left covered up, unseen. Many wrong futures, many wrong choices made. The mind likely blocks these out for a reason. Maybe he's sensitive after escaping his prison.
If this is true, then we exist unbound from time. A string in a labyrinth, with no one holding the other side. No one to tug. No one to guide us in the right direction. No one, of course, except for you. Our visions may be useless at the moment, but are yours. We would recommend that you try inducing a vision, Monarch. Not right now, of course, but in your own time. However, when you do, we would request a favor. If you see the future, embrace it, but also look into the past. The future you see blossoms from choice and consequence. Look back at those choices made and conjure up the choices unmade. The loss, the heartbreak, the death. Maybe then you will know what pains us.
He's plagued with bad visions. He no longer sees the one true future. He sees everything, and that's a curse I would wish upon nobody. I can't even imagine how many times he's seen us all die, and for what.
There is only one thing that remains constant throughout these visions. Yourself, the blade of Exodus, and the death it feeds off of. There is something self-serving about all three of these things. You always have that blade, and the people around you always die. When they do, it's almost like that makes the blade more powerful. It's like there's an essence released from our bodies when we pass on.
Is it saying that I have to kill everybody to, beat the triumvirate?
But is that the essence of life, or the essence of death? Perhaps that is a choice the wielder of the blade must make. What do you think, Monarch? Is that energy life, or is it death?
When we die, I think our spirit is released, that's our life. If the energy is released when we die, then it's made of death.
An interesting thought, to say the least.
Oh, oops, I pressed the wrong
If it's
one!
up to the wielder, at least we know where you stand. That blade is such a mysterious thing.
Oh shit, I picked the wrong...
It grows ever stronger.
Oh, okay, Okay, I was thinking it was more this. Like when we die, our spirit is released. At least that's what I was thinking. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
An interesting thought, to say the least. If it's up to the wielder, at least we know where you stand. That blade is such a mysterious thing, and it grows ever stronger.
That's kind of funny that it actually does not change anything at all. I was so panicked that it was going to change something and it ended up not changing anything. Okay. He's almost cryptic, telling me what I already know. I know that the blade deals with the spirits of its victims. The Triumvirate used it to create their own massive army. Even if I kept a portion of every soul, it would get stronger with every kill. That, combined with the power of the monarchy inside, immense power. A bit ironic if a portion of everybody the Triumvirate killed was used to end them.
We wonder if you possess this ability as well, to see the past, even when you stand in the present. Is that a curse meant only for us, or a gift to be further honed? It eludes our understanding, and we wish to know for sure. When we come back to the mainland, please return to Valinor. Close your eyes, concentrate on the past, and talk to your comrades. Do they speak as they do now, or as they did back then? We think that this answer will be very enlightening for us, and if it is, then maybe you can understand our plight.
Oh, that's dark for real. So, I mean, I'm kind of glad that I did miss what I did miss and returned to it. Because now I'm kind of seeing what they mean by that. That's why I was thinking earlier, because I did return on the stuff. I was thinking, man, why didn't they just lock us out of that? Because, like, it no longer makes sense to the flow of of the story. That's a good little patch.
How do we know where we are if our surroundings fluctuate? What if we already had this conversation, and this is but an echo? Perhaps we reside at the end of time, simply witnessing our demise.
Okay, now he's lost me.
Sorry, we must appear insane. It's just hard, not being grounded in the present. The one downside of visions, being lost in time. Dreaming of that brighter future, and ignoring the present, looking back on the past, and focusing on our mistakes. We experience this tenfold, even mistakes we did not make.
Yeah.
When we see your death, we feel pain. A pain worse than death, the loss of hope. That blade falls to the ground, coated in your blood. Comrades scream in agony as they befall the same fate. Then why do we stand there, only capable of watching? We wish to help you avoid this fate. That is our duty. We apologize for the lack of sense, Monarch. Your time is more valuable than that, limited as it is. Perhaps next time, we will make more sense of everything. But try not to forget our advice and our request. We know there is a purpose for all of this. There must be. Together, we will find it, rather than stand here and complain.
A nod before leaving him. He was suffering, I could tell. I had enough trouble dealing with visions of the future. He must feel tortured. If there was anything I could do to help him out, I'd have to do it when I had the chance. If it's possible that his body just doesn't know how to handle all of that energy. I was trained at a young age to handle it, so I had a grasp on how I should be doing. Is it possible that, unless trained, someone's mind could be lost in the sea of time? Perhaps, I suppose, but that is a topic for another day. I returned to the deck of the ship, keeping a watchful eye on my comrades. On my watch, they would never meet the grisly fate that Hal had witnessed. For a moment, I decided to stare into the sea, watching the waves and ripples. I could have looked ahead to the future, towards Alarinthia, our final destination. But for a moment, I considered looking away from the path we've set in stone. The sea continued to move, living on its own, despite our interference. Morty paces around the deck of the ship, deep in thought. Everything changed over the last few days, so this was insane. I hope he's handling it well. I better go see how he's doing.
Hey there, Monarch. There's something that's been driving me insane. You know how we were all freaking out about Valinor? Without the heat from the spirits, it'd freeze over and die. I mean, we believed it, but right now, it doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm is a prison, right? Nothing mystical or beneficial.
Yeah.
It matches up with what people outside of Valinor were saying. We were just superstitious and lived in a unique location. The monarchy gave us visions, and nothing more.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Howl the moment we get the chance. If it's like I think it is, then Valinor will be fine. No risk at all. As hard as these truths are to believe, they do have their benefits.
Yeah. In talking to me, he stopped his pacing and looks happy. It's true that a lot of our beliefs are shattered, but that's not a bad thing. A new understanding of the world gave us a new angle to tackle our problems from.
At least it'll make my leadership of Valinor a lot easier. The one major problem I had to take care of, completely eliminated. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's almost like one last gift from the spirits.
Ha!
Let's just hope we get lucky like that in Alarinthia. Securing an alliance with barbarians sounds super difficult. They're stubborn in their tradition, just like Valinor is known to be. But their tradition isn't steeped in the spirits like ours was. At the end of the day, will they even care about any of this? They almost live a world away, untouched by our problems.
Yeah, that is true.
No point worrying about things out of our control, right? Maybe we should talk about something we do have power over. Remember that climbing gear Pro gave me money for? Well, check it out.
He wanders over to a bag on the deck and reaches inside. A few moments later, he produced some clawed metallic objects. It appears that there's one pair for your feet and one for your hands.
They're adjustable, so you can wear them no matter what. You don't need to look for a foothold anymore. You can make them yourself. As long as you're strong enough, there's nothing you can't climb, Monarch.
That's awesome.
I know what I'm doing as soon as we get back. I'm heading to Valinor and climbing the Grand Tree. I want you to join me. It'll be a good place for you to learn.
Hell yeah.
I know what you're thinking, though. Why would I learn to climb on something so difficult? Well, you have gear now. I never did. It's a huge advantage. The only thing holding you back will be your energy. But with everything we've been through, this should be simple. I think it'll only take a few hours to climb, if I'm totally honest. I'll bring us a backpack with a bunch of water. Or maybe we should split that over 2 backpacks. Don't want to make one of us carry too much weight.
He puts the climbing gear back in the bag, clearly excited. It's a breath of fresh air to hear him talk about stuff so passionately. Everybody else is so concerned about the war, it's nice to just put that aside.
Besides, it's a pretty unique date destination, isn't it?
Boom.
Not many people can say they've been to the top of the Grand Tree. It's something special. You know, to match how special you are to me.
Aw, gay, I love it. I don't think I've seen him this excited in a long time. For a moment, it feels like all my worries have simply washed away. They've slipped into the ocean, becoming nothing more than gentle ripples. Morty starts to walk around the ship again and stretched his body. It's almost like he's preparing for a marathon of a lifetime. Of course, this has been a lifelong dream of his after all.
I know there's so much danger in our future, but there's happiness too, you know? Lots to look forward to in the end. Besides, I doubt I'll be key to our Alarinthian alliance, so in the meantime, there's not really anything else I can do. I've been practicing my climbing on the netting of the ship.
That's good.
People are worried that I'll fall off, but I tell them not to worry. It's very rare that I fall off, and I usually shake it off pretty quickly. I saw some of them get together and make some betting pools. It's a pretty boring voyage,
That's
so
awesome.
they make their own entertainment. I suddenly start to know why pirates enjoy fighting and gambling so much. When you're out at sea, there's just nothing much to do. It's pretty crazy. I'd go insane if I were a pirate. I just know it. After this war, I think I want to settle down on the mainland. Sailing isn't for me. I can say that with absolute certainty.
I'm not sure this life is for me either. It's just different. Valinor was a completely different atmosphere than any of this. Even Mazeo was a bit of a culture shock to me and my friends. I can't even imagine what Alarinthia and Balteus will be like. I look off to the horizon. We must still be pretty far away. There's no sight of land ahead. How much further to go?
Sorry for rambling on, but yeah, there's nothing else to do. I bet the other people will be able to keep your interest longer. But before you go, I have just one question to ask you.
Oh yeah? He stops stretching and walks right up to me with a sly smirk.
Do we make it to the top or do we fail? What's your bet, Monarch? And no refusing. We're on a pirate ship, so we need to act like pirates.
I say we make it all the way to the top, make history. Say we try our best, but don't... Hell yeah, we make it to the top.
Optimism. I love it. The other pirates didn't share that trait. They seem to actually look forward to failure. Though I guess that would be fun to watch. Can you imagine if I fell on the netting into the sea? They'd probably stand by and laugh rather than help.
I would. I'm joking. But that's how you know you got a friend. Is if you fall, they laugh at your ass first, and then they help you up. They still help you up, but they gotta laugh first. That is a real friend.
Oh, I know! A kiss! Loser has to kiss the winner. And yes, I totally rigged it.
Good.
Haha! I win no matter what.
With a smirk and a wink, he quickly runs off on his way. Full of energy, it seems, or perhaps he's going stir-crazy. I don't blame him, being stuck out at sea with nothing else to do. I guess our goal was clear. We'd climb the Grand Tree. That is, if we even made it back from Alvarinthia in one piece. His ability to focus on the positive during this war was admirable. Admirably, if not a bit naive, hopefully I could join in his positivity. But this blade on my back, both literally and figuratively, weighs me down. I might leave it on the surface when we climb. Yeah, that would make things easier. A lot easier. Morty's loyalty scene is now available when you turn to the light. Oh, cool! I don't know if I even have access. Oh, that's dope! By the way, if y'all want me to keep these heart-to-hearts, just let me know. If you want me to cut them, I will totally cut them for you. I understand they can go on for a while. I make my way down to the ship cabin and see Ulrich sitting on a bed. At least whatever passes for a bed aboard a somewhat cramped ship. He's sharpening his sword, clearly exerting himself as he does so.
Hey there, Monarch. As you can see, I'm getting ready for combat. I give it 2 days before we are dragged into conflict.
Yeah.
They don't use words to resolve things in Alarinthia. It's always a duel or a tournament. That's all they do. When we are there, we might as well speak their language.
He smirked as if the promise of action is exciting to him. He did hate Alarinthia, but he also loved combat. It was his nature. Hopefully he'd get to tackle a challenge worthy of his skill while we're there.
Gotta make the most of a bad situation, right? I'll get to give my sword arm a real challenge. What about you, Monarch? Excited for this?
Of course, I can't wait to secure that alliance. No, yeah, marching into certain death, born ready. I wish we wouldn't have to resort to violence. I could go... Yep, let's secure that alliance.
Spirit, we're going to make history. I really hope we can help Vivian and change the nation. As you know, that's been my dream for the longest time. It's nice to know that her movement actually has some traction. If only my parents were so lucky. I bet they'd be proud, Monarch. The foe may seem impossible to beat, but I have a feeling we can do it.
You know, they're trying to kick my heart in the dick. I know that what they're doing. They're setting all this shit up right now because they want to make Draco, or whatever his name, the better option for me. So they want me to break this adorable little mini polar bear's heart. Ugh.
That is, if we even get the opportunity to side with Vivian. If we get stuck with Draco, I have to admit that I'll be disappointed. We'd get our alliance, but at the end of the day, Alarinthia would be the same.
I mean, we could kill him after.
But I'm guessing you didn't come down here for a lecture. Have a seat. There's something I'd like to talk to you about.
I nod and sit down beside him. he continues sharpening his sword, and I watch. It must have gotten worn out during the battle back at HQ.
I don't want to scare you, and I'm not really hiding anything. But we were about to go to my homeland. You might hear things. Can you promise me something, Monarch? No matter what happens?
What?
Remember me for the things I've done for you and the rebellion. No matter what you hear about me or my past, please, don't judge me. I wouldn't judge you based on your past, so I expect the same from you.
Hey man, you good. I understand. Like, we do shitty things in our past that we wish we could change. That's just being, I guess, I would say human, but both of us are kind of lacking that quality, I guess. I nod. I can afford him that courtesy as long as he's not hiding anything heinous. Oh, of course he is. But he doesn't seem like the type. He's truly devoted to his life to the same cause as me.
Good. Then that's pretty much everything I had to say. I was really worried. I wasn't sure how to handle that topic. So rather than overthinking it, I just shot straight. Thank you. It was especially hard since you're such a powerful figure. I'd hate to get on your bad side, so I need to be fully open. I have a few secrets, as we all do, but nothing really bad. If you don't find out in Alarinthia, I'll probably tell you myself. In fact, maybe it would mean more if it came directly from me. Sorry, I must sound stupid. I'm not really good at this kind of stuff.
Aw, you're sweet. It's fine.
Talking about myself is hard. It definitely helps to get drunk. But ale was something they didn't think to pack for this voyage. Maybe I'll pull some strings so the ride back can be more lively.
Ha! Yep. He gives me another one of those trademark smirks. Love it. I get the feeling that he really does use alcohol as a social crutch. He's much more open and lively while under the influence. Is that bad? Little bit of alcoholism. I guess it's not my place to say, as long as it doesn't get in the way of his duty. Something told me that our visit to Alarinthia would put him in the spotlight more than ever. I get up from the bed and turn around to face him. He continues working his sword.
Sorry I didn't have much to say. I guess I'm a little shy. But it'll all make sense in time. I can promise you that. When that time comes, you need to keep your promise.
Okay. He's really pushing this promise thing. Should I be concerned? Yes, you should, but fuck it. I'd hate for him to use it as leverage if some horrible secret came to light. Thankfully, I see Ulrich as a good person. He wouldn't hide anything bad from us. You are fucking yourself over. I might as well just shoot myself in the fucking foot, because this is what I'm doing with all these cliche setups. Like he said, it'll all make sense in time. All I can really do is go about my business and wait. Suddenly, I'm more excited about our journey to Alarinthia. Both Alessia and my comrades were slowly opening up to me. In that last few days, everything had changed. What else would change? That thought fills me with both excitement and fright at the same time. Alright, Valessa. I step towards Valessa, who has her hands on the ship's railing. She seems lost in thought, but who wouldn't be after recent events? Careful not to startle her, I simply stand beside her and rest my hands too.
You know, for once I thought things were going well. We had an army, and it seemed like our objective was clear. But they outsmarted us. They caught us off guard. We were careless. They always say to be cautious if things are going too well, especially in war. We got blinded by the victory we thought we secured. Nobody thought to question our course of action, or Dominic's orders.
I was saying that the entire fucking time. Was I not? I was always going, you know what? It's going too simple. It's going too good. I think there's a trap coming up. Oh, nobody wants to listen to me. But then again, I'm a weirdo who's, in my adult years, talking to a camera while playing a video game for fun. So, I guess I'm not one for the best of judgment.
And to top it all off, you don't need a scribe anymore. Vortim gets to lead our nation, and I'm left with nothing? That's hardly fair. Now I have no idea what to do with myself. I just wish things could be clear, like they used to be. When things were difficult, our future was certain. We don't even know if we can secure this alliance.
Don't worry, Valessa. We'll make things work out.
I want to believe you, but I'm just not sure. We thought things would work out back at the Rebel HQ. Look how that turned out, Monarch. We were reckless.
Okay, I'm gonna need everybody to stop saying we, because I was not a part of this recklessness. Alright? I knew that something was coming. I had the foresight to be cautious of shit. And y'all were the one like, la-di-da, let's just press da-da-da. I was not a part of that.
I don't want to sound mean, but I don't share those thoughts. It's important to take a step back and look at the big picture. That way, you don't get blinded and act based on your ego.
Oh, fuck you. Now you call me egotistical. She lets out a loud sigh as we stare off into the horizon. The slow rocking of the ship pushes us closer together. With the distance closed, I can hear her more clearly. There's definitely more on her mind, I can tell. But I can't force her to open up, so I stand there in silence. My ears open up to her, as long as she decides to speak.
I was so lost in thought, I couldn't sleep last night. I decided to help Alex prepare the ship for our voyage. We got to talking, and he told me something shocking. I'm not even sure if I should tell you this, Monarch, but I guess it's something you deserve to know. Remember how those people recognized us?
Yeah. She must be talking about Grizz and Grayson. They both recognized us when we first met.
They recognized us too. Immediately. I assumed it's because they knew our parents. But then they told me how they knew them.
She closes her eyes and looks up to the sky.
Our parents were pirates, Monarch. Feared, hated, legendary pirates. Sure explains their trips to Museo.
Yep.
At first I didn't believe it. I was lost in denial, but they kept telling me more and more, and I had to accept it. I always pictured our parents as these perfect, untarnished people. But they were killers. They broke the law. They pillaged. They were part of the reason the Triumvirate launched the occupation. I know what you're going to say. They wanted the idol. Piracy was a cover. And while you may be right, the excuse was still valid. At the end of the day, piracy was running rampant throughout Museo. Our parents played a part in giving them this perfect excuse. Don't you see?
Yeah, I see what
and
you're
in doing
saying.
so, they are partly responsible for all of those deaths. We always thought they were innocent victims. But were they really? Honestly, I doubt I'll be doing much sleep tonight either, Monarch.
See, that's one good thing about depression. Don't matter what's on my mind, I'm asleep. Like, that's the one W I get from having depression. She lets out another sigh, even more exhausted than the last one.
Let's sum it up, shall we? There's no more spirit realm. Our belief system was shattered. Almost the entire rebellion was killed in action. We were tricked. And to top it all off, I'm the daughter of some ruthless pirate killers. How am I supposed to process all of this? How will you, your parents, my parents, Fortin's parents, all 6 of them, they're not the people we thought they were. What do we do?
All we can do is be better people than they were. Brag about it, of course, that's pretty awesome. I don't know, let's play. Honestly, in real life, I'd probably say that. I'm like, okay, but like, for real though, that sounds so fucking badass. Like, does it not? Does it not? Okay? Shit, that'd be awesome. All I can do is be better people than they were. She nods without offering a reply of her own. but I know she understands this doesn't change much. The goals and the journey ahead of us would remain the same.
I'm just so lost, Monarch.
Honestly, part of me feels the same way. In that moment, there's nothing left to say. We stare off into the ocean, together. This was a turning point in all of our lives. How we handled things would define who we become. Our conversation ends with that thought, bringing both hope and despair. Okay, y'all lifted that shit from Danganronpa. Don't even think that you could pull that shit on me. Okay, last one. Pro. I see Pro sitting at one of the beds striking a match. He uses it to light some nearby candles, creating a laid-back atmosphere. Oh shit! The candle slowly fills the crew quarter with a sweet aroma, very relaxing.
Hey there, Monarch. Perfect timing, actually. I wanted to talk to you. I thought we could get to know each other a little better. Unfortunately, our time was cut short back at the Rebel HQ. But this is a long voyage, with no need to cut any corners. So, wanna have a seat? We can get things started. The candles are supposed to be relaxing, something about aromatherapy. I never really looked into it, but I'm scared of water, so I needed help.
Fair enough. I sit down beside Pearl on the bed, already one fact richer. So he was scared of water. He must not be having much fun. Makes me wonder what else I don't know about him. He's a mystery.
You should tell me about yourself, Monarch. And this is because I'm genuinely interested, I swear. Whatever you tell me, I'll never write down in any books.
Aw, man.
That's what friends do, right?
Yeah.
Confide in each other? I know I always talk about writing books and conducting interviews, but the truth is, this time, I want to keep things between the two of us.
I nod and tell him a random fact about myself, nothing harmful, just small. He smiles and we start to exchange facts about each other. He seems really happy. Okay, I did some jewelry work for a while. It was mostly artistic, but like, as far as welding and metal and shit, I've done that, so that's a fun fact, I guess. The pressure was not to write any of this down and treat me like a subject must be relieving.
Everyone always treats me with such apprehension, you know? Like, anything they tell me, I'll turn around and use it against them. That is a part of my business, but it's not like I want to do things that way. I hope people don't treat me that way after the war is over. I'm quitting this swindler's life as soon as I get the chance. I'll still write, but I won't use information as a weapon. Ever. Instead, I'll use it to help those in need. You know, I've done it before and it feels good. Information can either be a sharp knife or a warm embrace.
True.
Weird metaphor, I know. But like I said, I'm no fiction writer. I prefer to focus on stuff that's real, like people and their actions. They ripple outwards, affecting people in ways they'd never know.
True.
Of course, that's something that applies to normal people. There's nothing normal about you, Monarch. No offense, of course. You're going to be in charge of the entire world after this war is over.
Shit. Wow, talking about putting the pressure on. Pro senses this and changes the subject.
Can I tell you a little secret? Maybe it'll make you see things differently. You know, so you won't picture me as a bad person.
I don't see you as a bad person, man.
I can tell that a lot of people do, even if they don't say it. But all I'm doing is helping Dominic win this war in the best way I can. It's not my fault I'm like this. All I can do is play with the hand I've been dealt.
He smiles and suddenly a wave of fear overtakes my entire body. I shut my eyes tightly as that last phrase echoes through my mind. Where did I hear that before? Oh right, during my visions. When I first touched the Blade of Exodus back in Valinor. The series of visions ended with me getting stabbed by a man. Knew it! I knew it! A man that, unfortunately, I'm now able to identify as Pro. He lets out a soft laugh and rests his hand behind his head, laying back. My heart beats incredibly fast as this revelation slowly processes itself in my head. The final vision the monarchy had given me was of Pro betraying all of us. What was going on? Why would he do that?
There was this little boy who got abandoned by his parents. He didn't know why, and that hurt him so much. Maybe they just didn't want him. But why? What did he ever do to them? It made no sense, and he hated that. He had to grow up on the streets, living on the scraps that other people threw away. It wasn't just his parents, you know. It almost seemed like nobody wanted him at all. That just made things worse. Can you imagine feeling unwanted by the world?
Yes. He starts telling me this story, the anxiety slowly dissipates. Pro was a swindler, right? Maybe he was only pretending to kill me. I don't think Pro could hurt me. There must be a deeper meaning here.
He started to pick up on people's secrets. You know, just little things. After a while, he found out that people would pay anything to learn these secrets. As a teenager, he used this ability to live a luxurious life of gluttony and sloth. He knew secrets that could topple cities or destroy people's relationships. But none of that gave him satisfaction, because there was one thing he never knew. Why his parents abandoned him. Why they didn't want him. Did he deserve it? It was too humiliating to admit, so he made up another story. His parents died during the occupation. That was much less embarrassing. Everybody believed him, and that helped him fit in with a new group of people. This new group of people, the rebellion, wanted to use his skills for good. They accepted him with open arms, which is something nobody had ever done before. He knew he found his place in the world, and since then, he served his new family. He keeps prodding the locals for information, picking up all sorts of secrets. He wants to know why people do the things they do, and what motivates them. He does this so nobody has to suffer like he did. Simply not knowing the reason.
I notice he starts to get sad and tears are forming in his eyes. He's talking about himself. He's the boy in the story, I can tell. Perhaps telling me as if it were a story made it easier for him.
So everybody thinks this guy is bad. A blackmailer and a swindler. He might be right, but it's just how he grew up. He had no control. He had nobody to show him how to act. Nobody to care or love him. Until the rebellion took him in, of course. I'm sure you already guessed it, but that boy is me. All my actions, however bad, have had a reason. I want to keep going until I learn about my parents. Where are they now? Why did they throw me away? If they weren't proud of me, then would they be proud now? I hope you can understand. I really do. I'd do anything to learn where they are right now. I'd follow any order. I just want to see them face to face and finally learn the reason why.
Bro, I don't know how to tell you this, but sometimes finding out the reason that you were abandoned, why some people turn their back to you, sometimes they just, no matter what they say, it's never going to be good enough. Hate to break that to you, man, but it's true.
That's why I threw myself into this world of secrets and trickery. I thought that if I kept going, maybe one day I'd learn the truth. I guess we'll find out before this war is over. Right, Monarch?
I nod. I give him a soft smile. It meant a lot that he opened up to me. It must suck not knowing the truth of something like that. I can't even imagine. But it explains why he's so obsessed with learning about actions and motivations. We talked for a bit longer, about nothing important, before parting ways. Perhaps he wanted to ease the tension in the room after dropping these facts. After we're done, he seems happy and we seem closer. There was no loss here today. Alright, I think that's where everything is. Let's get to Alarentia and then we'll find a place to stop. I make my way down into the crew area of the ship. My bed isn't too hard to find, and at least I have some privacy. I find myself remembering what Grizz told me about the blade. It bends to the will of the wielder. That much was true. I've been able to use it to accomplish so much already. But what are the true limits of its power? Did I want to know? I rest the blade on my bed and sit beside it cross-legged. Closing my eyes, I start to focus and clear my mind. This is probably a good time to test my limits. Blade of Eximus, show me our victory. I reach forward and gently touch the blade. My eyes were shut tight and my resolve is clear. Yet, try and wish as I might, nothing happens at all. Well, I guess it can only show us what is possible, which means that we are gonna get our ass kicked. Alright. Did the blade have nothing to show me? Or maybe I was scared of seeing the future. It could be worse. Was there no victory in sight? I pull back and open my eyes. It didn't work. I scoff and rest the blade at my bedside, concerned. I drift off to sleep with an anxiety that wasn't there before. When I wake up, I see the sun pierce through the windows. With everything I was told, that means we're in Alarentia. I grab the blade and immediately get out of bed. Running around the ship, I see nobody in sight. Did they leave without me? That's odd. Or maybe they let me sleep in. Something's up. After everything that happened, I guess I'm thankful. I search for a map of Alarentia and I inspect it closely. If they left, I should be able to meet them at the docks. A long way from home. Alright. That looks like a good place to stop for today. So, I was able to make my decision. I have an army of seers and not an army of the dead. I chose Howl. Shitty name, by the way, for that character. To be my advisor. Dominic is no longer the general. Let's see. I met some of the people who are against Dominic, and that is concerning because he's still gonna be one of my top guys, and I'm not gonna deal with any of this infighting shit. That shit gonna have to... I'm gonna nip that shit in the fucking bud. Let's see. I went back over the places I should have been before that would have helped, but that was actually not a terrible thing for me to have skipped over, because when I was talking to Howl on top of the ship, which, by the way, that choice changed nothing, even though I suppose I should be happy because I just panicked and I'll leave that in there so y'all can see my stupidness. From what Hal was saying, that actually kind of helps because it lets me see a little bit of what he's talking about, and it kind of gives that clever little bandage to what I was talking about they should have either locked it or like find some way to change, you know, the trajectory of what the past events were saying. So that was good. Anyway, we had some hard hearts. We're at Alarentia. This is gonna be a nightmare and a half, isn't it? Well, we'll have to see. Anyway, If you like what you see, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can see my content in the future. Also, while you're here, if you have any game suggestions or you just want to say hi, leave it down in the comment section below. I'm DC Hannah. I'll catch you on the next bit.